What's up, y'all? Langston here, and it's a very special day because I am joined by not just an incredible writer here at Marvel, but one of my childhood friends, one of my college friends.
Yeah.
We did theater together, like a couple of weirdos in New York
We were
City.
incredible theater nerds.
Yes.
I'm not exaggerating when I said their literal times in front of coffee shops doing the West Side Story snap.
Yes. Well, of course, I'm talking about the one, the only, Danny Lore. How are you, my friend? How are you?
Hey, it's great to be here, just like on the couch and also, chatting with a fellow nerd.
Yes, yes. I want to get to the big news, the big congratulations. Can you please regale the Marvel faithful as to why you recently burst into tears on a Marvel panel?
Okay, fine, whatever. We just announced in February we will be getting a Bloodline Daughter of Blade series starring Brielle Brooks. It'll be, I'm on writing, Karen Darbo on art. It is so dope and so fun. We get to see Brielle as a teenager dealing with suddenly vampires being like a real thing in her life in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, nice. I mean, as I'm sure they're down. I'm sure they're laying low during the day. What has it been like? I mean, again, like when a character like this, like, Blade that is beloved, you're getting to expand on this legacy. What is that like when you're kind of handed the keys to like the next chapter and like the legacy of Blade with the daughter? And like this is like what's that feeling like?
It's exciting, right? Because like for me, I was telling the story earlier about how like one of my fondest memories, even before I ever thought that I was going to do comics, right, is that my dad would do like the Sunday matinee movies with us, and it was going to see Blade with him. And I was, at the time, I didn't even know he was a superhero, right? It's funny, people are like, oh, the Marvel logo at the beginning. I was like, I was a child. I wasn't looking at logos.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you didn't know what they were.
I was like, there's words before the movie, and I wait for the words to be over.
You're getting in the way of my movie.
So like, growing up and like from the first time you hear music, like from the time the sprinklers come down and you were like, this was different, seeing like that kind of cool, like, so both in terms of like his legacy in comics, but also like my personal like vibe with the character and how important he is to me, to like my memories of like my father, and stuff like that. It was really intimidating, but intimidating in that kind of way where I'm like, nah, I have to do this, like where I was like, this is an opportunity to make the kind of character that is very connected to that legacy, but also feels like, the kids that are, like at the bus stop waiting at 3:30, like those kids that I knew both growing up, but also like my younger cousins and their kids, like.
No, I can listen to you talk, because I'm just so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. Yes. So I want to know.
It's not like you've ever listened to me babble before.
It's very
ever.
true. We've sat at diners very much talking about the varying degrees of all Marvel characters. But I want to go back, and again, there are so many creators out there, writers, artists, young and old, that are looking to start their journey to create here at Marvel. And I've known you for so long, and I've known you before that. Please tell us like the origin story, waka, the origin story of how you came to be a creator at Marvel.
The answer is I still really don't truly know or believe that it happened. I might walk away from here and you come out and you're just like, psych, like you're building up for that.
All four walls fall down.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
But like, for me, I was really fortunate that when I was working at the comic shop Forbidden Planet, at a time where I was focused on writing prose, right? Like, I loved comics, but like it hadn't ever really clicked. Like, one can exchange money for my script.
Yes.
And then they will let me write more scripts. But I was really fortunate that I was working there when my best friend Vita Ayala and Matt Rosenberg were starting to really break into the industry. And that's how I learned to script, actually. Like, just watching them and listening to them, and going, hey, can I see your script so I see how it's done? And I was really fortunate that they both really believed in my craft. And Vita, when they believe in you, they basically go, I'm going to drag you everywhere until you start introducing yourself as a writer. And I was really fortunate enough to do work with Vault, my creator-owned stuff. And then from there, I started co-writing with Vita for a bit, which is great because like there's a lot of things when you're a prose writer in terms of like pacing and how much dialogue that is a big adjustment. And Vita is really, really good with that pacing stuff. And then my first solo like longer thing at Marvel was Champions. With I say solo because Vita wasn't co-writing, but that would be unfair to Luciano because Luciano was a gift on that book. I will praise him, up and down like this entire convention floor. Because every script is really like this big learning process. That's what I like about writing. Like, no matter how many things you've written, the next thing you're going to learn something. And that was kind of my journey, was this very weird, just like being really fortunate that not only did people believe in me, but I was able to not embarrass them in public, essentially. Which is a big thing, like it's making sure that if someone has seen your writing and believes in it, that they can introduce you to somebody that and just being there and being willing to go, I have no clue how to do that, but I will learn right now. I mean, from improv, like sometimes the answer is just yes and just keep going.
So I want to know, what was the biggest surprise, like going from, now writing a comic book, a Marvel comic, what was the biggest surprise that you found that was like, oh, here's something I never thought I'd encounter? Or like, what was that moment, like a moment of like, aha, oh, writing a comic is different than writing prose, like you said. What was that biggest aha moment maybe for you?
So for me, I think it has been learning. As a prose writer, I think, like, as much as collaboration as there is with your editor, I feel like a lot of it is very solo, right? A lot of it you're doing, like in private on your own. And I had to learn to, like, I've always loved teammates, right? And I'm always like, I'm not drawing because I can't draw, so I rely on you to do that. But learning to say, look, I'm going to write this, but, like, also I may be wrong. So just, like, reaching out, like, and I learned that a lot on Champions, especially when I would be like stuck or scared, because like my first book at Marvel being a team book was like big, there's a lot of learning that goes into that. And Luciano, though, he like loves choreography, for example, so I could go, hey, I'm not really sure how to do this, and we would just get into a DM or an email chain, and we would just figure it out. And I got to learn from learning about that stuff. Or, I was really fortunate to spend a day at a convention surrounded by, like, 3 amazing letterers one day. And I just asked them everything about their craft and had them, like, flip through books and teach me about what they do, right? Because I think so much about how we craft dialogue has to keep in mind how the space on a page works, how much work they have to do on that back end, right? And so the more you learn about the lettering process, the better your dialogue is, and I always love just like sitting there and asking everyone to just teach me about their craft, so I can like how do I write a script so that you have the easiest time possible and you get to do what you do, and then like I guess on a personal side, it's really people actually coming up to me and saying, when they say something that they love about your work, and that was something that you cared about while writing it in a really deep way. Because I'm a very, very insecure person, like, as I'm sure you remember. But, like, as much as I talk a good game, I can be very self-conscious. And it just hits different when someone tells you their favorite part was the part that was the message for you, Where, some, brown queer teenager tells me that, like, this book mattered to them, and that they got what I was doing. Because, like, when you're writing scripts, it's easy to forget that the readers are going to click. You just kind of hope they do.
Yeah. Well, Danny, I'm so proud of you, and it's so good to see you. I'm so glad I got to talk to you. I'm so glad we're here. We made it.
Oh my gosh. I just like, ever since I first saw you doing this stuff, like, because you were doing this before I was like writing, and I just been like, one day I want to be up on that stage and on the camera with you. Like, that was like literal bucket list of career goals.
Oh, well,
like, I was like from the beginning. And so like, I love being here, and you know.
I love you.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Shay, for joining.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And you, stay tuned to all the cool things happening here at the Marvel booth at New York Comic Con 2022.